So if nude Americans see sex as perhaps less stimulating than shuffleboard, for a particular group of clothed Americans, it's the only thing on their minds. But in this club, you got to belong to belong. This is Christine Carlisle.
Well, what we have is a club, and it's called the Hung Jury. And in order to be a member of the club, a gentleman must have at least 8 inches. And what I do is, if someone wants to join the club or if they are a member, I go around to them and measure them and verify that. The club has been in effect for probably 7 or 8 years now. It was started by Jim Boyd, and it was just a brainstorm. He thought that there were a lot of men that are well endowed, and he just felt that there are women that want that in a man.
Well, I started it with a letter under a female pseudonym in Forum magazine. This woman had been to an orgy and was measuring everybody in sight, and the party was held by the Hung Jury, and come on and join. And I gave my home address, and I got nearly 1,000 letters within a month telling me I had hit a nerve. I had struck a chord. What
we do is we set up a meeting in a public place like a restaurant or a lounge, and then if I'm comfortable with them and I would feel comfortable being alone with them, we will find a quiet area and I will go ahead and measure them. And if they're 8 inches, then I verify that for the club. If they're not 8 inches, they can't be in the club. Some women want 8 inches or more, some women want 9 inches or more, some women want at least 8 inches with a circumference of maybe 6 or 7 inches around.
That's frightening.
Mm-hmm.
That's the size of a small community, isn't it?
Yeah.
People all over the world have their carnal preferences, but only an American publicity hound like Jim Boyd, not his real name, would form a fan club to the fuller phallus, then shamelessly promote in equal parts his organisation and his organ.
Because I saw in all the alternative papers and swinger magazines and other alternate lifestyle publications that a lot of women were looking for well-hung men. My member measures 8 inches long, 5.5 inches around. And in fact, when I've gone on dates with some of these women, when I pick them up at home, at their home, or they pick me up, a few times they say, well, can I see it? I say, sure. I drop my pants, hand them a tape measure, and away we go.
May I be so bold as to ask what your requirements would be?
Mine are 9 inches.
It's as cut and dried as that?
Yes.
So would you reject the rest?
Yes.
And has it ever come to pass that someone has perhaps come to a stage of, and you've had to say, hold on, little fella?
No, I wouldn't do that to somebody. I try and find out in advance.
It strikes me, though, as being a little bit, I mean, you are being reduced, really, to your importance and your value just to that flappy little appendage, or not so little appendage.
Not at all. Most women, if they were given a choice between two guys of equal value and personality and looks and charm and charisma and pizzazz, but one had a bigger penis than the other and they were both sexually able, would choose the larger man, and who can blame her?
Men can pick a woman by the way her legs look or her bosom or whatever, and I think it's great that women can come out and say, deliver, give it to me.
It's slightly more personal than your legs, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Tell me a bit more about the measuring stage. You have a fellow who's approached you and says, I want to be measured.
Mm-hmm.
Presumably we're talking about erect rather than flaccid.
Right. Exactly.
How does one go about getting him in that state, and what tools do you use?
What I found is that I just use a ruler, and they should be at least 8 inches. And this is my preference of 9. And usually when you're with a man, just the thought of having a woman put him on the line, and it's like, get it up, then they just usually get it up.
And do you always use the rigid ruler there, or do you have something which is more...
No, sometimes I use a tape measure, a cloth tape measure, because not everyone is perfectly straight.
Does the angle of the dangle play any part in this?
Sometimes.
Would there for you be a time when there was actually too much of a good thing?
I haven't found it yet. There's a member of the club that's 13 inches, so I'm hoping to meet him soon.
Well, we wish you well to wear it, as we say.
That's bigger than the ruler.
Unkind viewers might be thinking that the only reason Americans like Jim Boyd might join dumb organisations like the Hung Jury is because they wouldn't get anyone to go near them otherwise. And now, mini-golf. All grown-ups know golf is dumb. It's not exercise, it's not sport, and you don't even get to kill anything. But to Americans, it isn't dumb enough. So they invented mini-golf. When mini-golf first appeared in the fad-hungry 1920s, even the upper classes went wild for the game, putting away up above the rabble on penthouse roofs.
2 million people played every day somewhere in America.
It was a mania. People took days off work, played all night long. Why, rumour has it, one guy even started the Depression so he could spend more time on the little links. Civic and religious leaders feared it was shredding the national fibre. They tried to ban the game. Of course, mini-golf eventually shook off the stigma. Mini-golf moguls are no longer regarded with the contempt that the long-haired, pot-smoking youth of the 60s heaped upon them. In fact, modern, health-conscious kids think guys like Pete Pepples are kind of cool.
30 years ago, my wife and I, we run a miniature golf course, and we leased it for 2 years. And after the 2 years, we wanted to release it, and the man says no. So we've thought that, well, down the road here someday, we'd like to have one of our own. And we just put this thing together, and it's just fallen in place now. And being that this was a farm, I was either going to name it Cow Pasture Golf or the Barnyard, and I went along with the Barnyard, figuring, well, I could put a little bit more animals to it then.
There's no question why mini-golf and America go so well together. There are just so many aspects to savour. You can enjoy the mild cardiovascular exertion, or you can feed the inner man by stepping back and admiring the breathtaking visions in fiberglass. There's something so right about bright colours on a landscape. Call me common if you will, but given the choice between just staring at one of Henry Moore's big rocks with holes in them, or knocking a ball through one of those holes, there is no choice. It's miniature golf, miniature golf, miniature golf.
By the way, ever hear why it was called miniature golf? Well, you start, and in a minute you're through. Plop.
In America, the fun doesn't ever have to stop, even in death. Mr. Roger Algrim of Palatine, Illinois, has fashioned one of America's most exciting and challenging mini-golf courses just one floor beneath this funeral parlour that's been owned by his family for 100 years.
Algrim and Sons Funeral Home, Roger Algrim speaking.
Roger?
Yes.
Are you sure I can't persuade you to have a small monetary wager on this game?
No, I don't think so.
Just for fun?
Yes.
Okay, what's the par on this one?
This is 3.
3, okay. How long did your family have the funeral home above?
100 years. This is our 100th anniversary.
100 years, but it took them 62 to realise what a good idea it would be to have mini-golf downstairs.
Yes.
So who designed this place for you, Roger?
Oh, I did myself. I always played miniature golf since I was a kid. So I had an idea what I wanted to do.
Now, the sort of macabre touches on this, I mean, obviously that's suggested by the place of work above.
Well, you could say that.
Well, I just did.
Yes, I just felt...
After a couple of minutes, I found myself completely forgetting where I was. It didn't seem at all strange or dumb that I was playing mini-golf under a funeral parlour.
This is the haunted house.
Yes.
Where did you get the things that decorated, the skull inside and the face on the outside?
Well, the face on the outside came from our mortuary school. And we used that for restorative artwork and cosmetics practicing.
Who normally comes down here? What kind of people do you have?
Cub Scouts, we'll get Brownies, Indian guides, and then adult groups for birthdays, 30th and 40th.
What's the hardest hole to play down here?
Probably the guillotine. That guillotine comes down awfully fast.
And how do I get it through there?
All right, I'll have to turn it on, because it makes quite a bit of noise. And kind of hard to talk in that with this going sometimes. You didn't make it.
Tricky, isn't it?
Yes.
So why do you leave it turned off?
All right. Well, the noise would come right upstairs through the ductwork into the chapels, and we couldn't have that.
So you'd have people there for a memorial service?
Sure.
I think you're chopping salami down here or something.
It's something like that. So that's why we don't really let anybody play down here when we have business upstairs. Good, you made that. That's excellent.
Yeah, well, you're not playing with a chimp, though, exactly. I mean...
All right. This goes awfully fast.
Oh, you made it in style.
We are around grief so much, and we have fun down here. We're human, and people who know us and come down here and play too, they realize too that we're human. Funeral directors are human. And we like to have fun, and we enjoy ourselves.
And rumour has it that somewhere in America there's a funeral parlour with a nudist camp underneath. Americans, a simple people, need simple amusement. But by simple, I don't mean natural and unadorned. No, it's not enough to look at a beautiful animal or admire the majesty of nature as it stands. To be an American means to shape nature to your own dumb will. So if you yearn to see animals yanked from their natural habitats to perform dumb tricks for cheap amusement, you're in luck. In fact, in America, humans have all the luck. But of all the creatures pressed into service by desperate fun seekers, none rivals the pig. Instead of forcing swine to perform unnaturally, however, Americans have harnessed the pig's instinctive desire to slide and swim. And of all the pigs in the entertainment business, one name has been synonymous with swinish good times for over 40 years. Since 1951, thousands, if not millions, of dedicated fun seekers have come here to Aquarina Springs in Texas. That's because they want to be able to tell their children and their children's children that they've seen with their own eyes one of the marvels of our modern age, the pig, the diving pig named Ralph.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the final call for the 5:30 performance featuring Ralph, the world-famous diving pig.
The folks at Aquarina know that no single diving pig can maintain the high level of skill necessary to appease this eager but jaded crowd. In order to guarantee satisfaction, they've set up the world's only Ralph training program. In the sumptuous underwater theatre, there's an understandable air of tension as we await the coming of Ralph. And here he is, with his merman assistant. He's younger than I'd expected, but looks promising. That was a stumble, not a dive, and no fun at all. Understandably, we're disappointed. Number 2 is trotted out. Let's all agree to pretend the first one never happened. This is Ralph. Surely we'll see a proper dive now. Well, that was fun, but for all the wrong reasons. The crowd is turning ugly, or should I say, uglier. We want a diving pig. Ralph dived. It was good. Fun was had.
It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, I would give it a A rated.
It was real cute.
It was excellent.